I want to welcome everybody who's here today. This is our first free live session that I've done on Women's Technology Integration Collaborative. I will be doing more. I love these like fifth Tuesdays in the month. It's like a free bonus Tuesday. And since we have free bonus Tuesdays, I'm going to make it a free bonus Tuesday. So I think we have another one coming up in October. So I'll find someone awesome for that. Anyway, with this free bonus Tuesday, we have Kelly Howard, and she's in our group as well. And she and I had a call where I just felt like WTIC was floundering, and I know it's a good group and I know there's great content in it. And I was like, why is it floundering? So we had a call and she gave me some really great advice. So I was like, do you want to come to our bonus Tuesday and speak to my whole group? And so she agreed to do that. She is a membership marketing expert and has spent decades on the inside of membership businesses, building them, growing them, and selling them. So this isn't some like I read about it in AI and now I do it for a living. No, she has done this. She's grown membership companies from like 25 members to over 1,000. So I just can't wait till WTIC is over 1,000 without the ad spend. It's been all or mostly organic. She built 2 other communities to the size where she was able to actually sell them. And now she helps founders do the same thing through her membership marketing lab, which is part of her Marketing with Heart brand. She specializes in helping experienced founders, such as all of us, build paid memberships that fit their actual business. So not a content creator model that demands the constant output. If you read the article, right? We can't be constantly creating output. That's not our job. And her approach really does combine smart marketing strategy, community building, and retention systems that work without requiring you to be everywhere all the time. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here with us today, Kelly.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate this. It's fun. I love this, and I can go anywhere you guys want to today. Okay, that's a given. I will say this. I think the first membership I built was, I'm going to really date myself. I think it was 1995. And it was at a time when you had to code a site. Email was brand new. Like when
Wow.
I hit 25 people on my email list, I get chill bumps still. I was like dancing around, screaming. It was amazing. When I sold that company, it was at 25,000 people. So there was parts of it that were amazing, parts of it that were really hard. Like now, holy moly, like you can walk out the door and be a membership person, right? So it's very interesting to me. I will just say this up front, and this is no disrespect to AI. And I think that for women, we're at a stage right now where there's lots and lots of memberships out there, right? That's just memberships everywhere. But as AI continues to grow, people are going to need that connection that women bring. And as much as we can love our AI, it doesn't. In the end, it doesn't. Mine sucks up to me all day long, and I really appreciate it, but it's not
This
connecting.
is a
Feeds us, but at the same time, I really think that that's where we're going, and that
yeah.
as women, we need to create those communities where it's not necessarily content, and we'll talk content and everything, but I don't believe content's the thing. I just
No.
don't. I mean, we're drowning in it. We're drowning
Yeah.
in content, and we're really like drowning for lack of community. So,
I think
yeah.
you nailed it. And what's interesting is because we've had lots of community. I've had lots of communities, Facebook communities, LinkedIn groups. LinkedIn groups is great for a while. And then they stop notifying you your members' activity and your own activity. And so they just died a hard death because the whole point is community and communicating with that community and letting community communicate with you and letting community communicate with each other. So, and that I think is a thing that most groups are lacking, including mine. So I'm really glad to have you here today. And any hints and tips you can give us around building that community. And the one kudo I will say about Skool is it was built by I won't they weren't actually teenage boys, but it was built by essentially teenage boys, and it's built to be gamified, and yet I was missing out on that whole gamification piece, that whole levels piece, that whole engage to get to the next level to get free stuff. So for those of you who are in the community, you will be seeing a post on that in the next day or two. And that's already built in. So we don't even have to code that in. But that's not enough either, right? That's not enough either.
You know, that's I love that you said that because gamification is interesting, and it's something that I haven't used a lot on a site. I've used it in
Mm.
person,
Yeah.
right? Like in person communities, but not on a site. And I truly don't want to sound like I'm coming across rude toward anybody, but you're right. It was built by guys for the gamification feel, right? And you said something that is so true. Community, us to our community, right? Those of us who have a community, us to our community to us. But it's also being brave enough and comfortable enough to let our community talk to each other. And that's not something I see happening a lot.
That's
It's kinda like you wanna keep control of your community because if not, well, what if they run off and create another school or create a meetup group or whatever, right? And I believe, based on past experience, that if we continue to give what we need to give to our community, they don't leave. I mean,
right.
they just don't leave. They stay. And last night, like, as crazy as this sounds, so the company that I sold that had grown quite large, I sold it back in 2018. And I had it for, I don't know, a number of years, 15 plus years.
Good timing on that one, by the way.
Every so often, like my mother would say, "A blind hind finds an acorn." So, that was an outdoor activity company, and I sold it right before the pandemic. So,
Yeah.
the person who purchased it had to go through the pandemic with a company that was not allowed to connect people, which is awful, and she's done it, and she's done really well. She's out of Houston for the summer, and I offered to help her by stepping in and just kind of being there for the people.
Yeah.
So last night, I'm on a full moon hike in the woods, and it occurred to me that I think that company probably started 25 years ago. So if you think about that, in 25 years of connecting people and seeing people run off and do trips together in that particular company, connecting people to each other never hurt a thing. It did
Mhm.
nothing grow the gravitas and the love that people had for it. So there is something there about when you're building community, looking at your community and saying, how can I bring them together and not worry that they're going to leave together? I
Yeah.
mean, it's a real question, and it's probably one of the biggest questions people ask me when I'm helping them build community within their whatever, right, their membership or whatever. They're like, yes, but if they start hanging out together, they're going to leave. They don't. They don't. If they love
Yeah.
you and they love what you've given them, we're loyal. People are loyal. I mean, women
Yeah.
especially. It's not like all of us have just women groups, but I mean, women are loyal. So
It's
that's
interesting because Lori turned me on to a group, which you all should join, Women in AI, by Sabrina Romanoff, right? And she's fabulous. And I get a lot of what I share in my group from her. And she literally says, steal my stuff. Like she
mhm,
literally says, steal my stuff. It's working for me. It'll work for you. Steal my stuff. And I don't know if it's gender or generational, but women, I feel like have less of that clinging on, it's mine and holding feel to their business than men do. And I feel like this younger generation, because they're so and social media, like it's just all out there anyway, right? So I feel like maybe they also don't have that clingy fear that other people our age might have around their business and that concern around their business.
it's true. And when you said that, you said gender, generational, and generosity was the other word
Yes.
that came to
Yeah.
my mind. It's
Yeah.
like true generosity. And that leads to another idea, which is that, hang on just a second, which is that it just went out the window.
We all get it. We all get it.
I wrote an
Every one of
article
us.
recently. And it was like losing my words. Is it age or the age of AI? I
Both.
think it's a little bit of both. So I will come back to that important thing in just one second. And in the meanwhile, what do you guys want to hear about today? There's a chat. So if you've got something that you want to put in the chat, I'm here and I'm here for whatever you want to talk about. And let me just quit real quick. Okay. Oh, how I
How you
started.
started, pitfalls and best practices. Good question.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, and then a tiny school group that has no engagement. Got it. Let me
Yep.
go with those. And I can talk about this all day long. So I want you guys to drive the seat. Okay. So the way I started, let me see if I remember. Back in about 1995, I bought a magazine. It was a singles magazine. I'm in my 60s now. So those of you who are in that age, you probably remember we used to have those magazines where people could look at the pictures and then call a number and meet each other. And I was looking at that and I thought, okay, cool magazine, bought it, ran it. But I realized that there wasn't connection there, right?
Mhm.
And that is one of my things. I've always been after connection. So internet's just kind of getting noticeable. And I thought, what if we used the internet to connect people? How would we do that? Incomesmatch.com. So I'm
Yep.
looking at Match.com and I'm like, interesting, but they're missing the boat because what they're missing the fact that I'm in Houston, Texas, so big city. People want to connect, but they're not feeling that comfort level on the web yet, right? So why not make connections on the web and connections in person by having parties? Make a hybrid. So I created a hybrid. That one grew, created another one, that one grew, sold both of those. But that's what got me started, and what I started realizing was that people, I mean, I guess if I look back, I've been in connections my entire life. People need those connections with each other, and you have to look at it and go, "What's gonna give them the best?" Somebody said to me a million years ago, "If you put them at a party, they're gonna meet each other, and then they don't need you, so you're not gonna make any money." And I was like, yeah, they're everybody's gonna come back, right? And they did. So that's how I got started. And as far as best practices go, let me think in broad strokes first. I think best practices start with communication. I do see a lot of people communicating with their groups rather erratically. And so, one, communication. Two, the communication coming out of school can be a little bit overwhelming to people in their inbox, right? So, figuring out how to manage that. Because if you can't manage that, people are going to manage it by unsubscribing, right? So, communicating well, managing your communications. I'm going to go one step further on that one real quick because managing communications also comes down to email. So I've noticed this happening to me a lot lately. I will sign up for somebody's newsletter. And then they hit me with their tiny offer, so I buy their tiny offer, right? And then they get me with the upsell. So I'm like, sure, what the heck? I'm in. What they haven't done is they haven't taken their automation and had it talk to itself or talk to each other. So now I'm getting three different lines or four different lines of communication that are all talking against each other. This one's saying buy, this one's saying, hey, buy some more. And it's just such a flood. I think this is one of the things that I'm seeing with all the tiny offers out there is that the people who are putting them together aren't recognizing the fact that their email systems need to be cleaned up so that their automations, if and or but. If they buy this, take them out of this. If they're on your newsletter, remove them from this. Simple stuff, but I'm seeing people who should know better, people who have been in the business for a long time, but they just now jump in this tiny offer funnel situation and they're flooding people with email. So that's kind of an aside, but it's something to look at, right? Because it all comes back to communication.
I've noticed that on my Skool is I send out one post and all of a sudden it's sent out as a post. I can send it out as an email and then it's sent out in the daily roundup and then it's sent out in the weekly roundup. And y'all are getting 4 or 5 notifications via email. And that's too many because now you're just not even reading the with text stuff.
Mhm.
So that was number one. Oh, I know what it was. As a group founder, I'm like, I have to share something every day. Like, no, you don't. Because every time I share something, y'all are getting 3 to 4 notifications. Like, no, I don't have to share something every day. I just have to share really good shit.
The stuff that matters. And
Yeah.
actually, I mean, I guess that's what we're talking about because it's very there's so much clutter in
Mhm.
content, clutter in communication, just clutter and too many tabs open, right? We are flooding in clutter. And probably it's the reason that every time you turn around, somebody's talking about the parasympathetic nervous system and,
Right.
yada, yada, yada. It's because we are living in flight or flight consistently. So taking it down and bringing it as simple as you can. And along those lines, I will come back to no engagement in the school group, I promise. We talked about this, Vivica talked about this initially because of content, right?
Mhm.
And we're flooding in content. It is true. And there's something else that's happening, and we all know it. You ask your AI something, and you're looking for a paragraph, and you get a novel, right? And it's kinda like, "Oh, well, I guess I should give them a novel." You put something in a Gamma, and you get 25 pages. And you're like, "Oh, okay." The simpler we can make things, the clearer and more simple we can make things, whether it's our communication, whether it's what we're doing, whether it's how we get people talking to each other, I think that simplicity makes us stand out. It's really a thing. So I wanna jump over really quick because the tiny school group is silent. Who asked that? Who said that? Lori. Lori, how big is your tiny school group?
Sorry. 17 members now. And I think
One
part of
seven?
it might yes, 1 7. I think part of the problem might be the tech of school. It's an unfamiliar thing to them.
Maybe. So, a couple of things. W When I have started memberships in the past, and I'll tell you all about what I'm gonna start this time, so who knows what happens. But when I've started memberships in the past, I have had to seed them a little bit. Right? And by seeding them, not seeding from the union, but adding a seed in, like, maybe I get this person who I'm gonna use the company that was a singles company, that one's easy. So I get a couple of really vivacious women who, they don't have to be gorgeous, they just have to be vivacious. I mean, that was the thing. So you bring them in because I know they're gonna talk to everybody at the events. And then I bring a couple of other people in over here because I know they're at the right age or whatever it is, right? You're bringing in a few people that they're not your shills. I mean, they are members, but they're members who are bringing super value to you, right? And having that super value person in there who is seeing great value from you, so they want to help. Like they want to help. That's one thing. That's one thing I would do. The name of your group, you might want to change it just a tiny bit just for the SEO in school, right? And this is just a general comment. I was on a call yesterday with a gentleman who is one of the, we'll call him fathers of SEO.
Mm.
Okay. And he is moving more into what are they calling it now? AEO. They haven't quite come up with the right name.
EIOU, yeah, GE.
The next EO. And so I said to him, I said, well, I'm keeping a list of everything that women should do to be seen more. And he said, "Oh, that's easy. The number one thing I would say to women to be seen more is to explain what they do and who they are like a guy would do it." And I went, "Oh, very interesting, right? Because the truth is that if I
Not
wrote
true.
my bio like a guy, it would have been written a little bit more look at me, right? And AI is basing their search on men mostly right now. So looking at your SEO or AEO and your title, that might be a piece. Another piece might be the fact that you were just called the greatest AI person our leader knows, right? Say it, right? Say it. Say it. We have to just say who we are. Like we have to stand up and go, hey, you know what? We rock. We just
Mhm.
rock this. So then probably having 17 people, it does make for a quiet group. I'm betting your number is somewhere around 45 to 50 before it starts getting a little chatty. That
I
I'm
mean,
trying to
or
be
just
kind.
like
My
no, I almost because we've got 670 members now. Thank you, Norma. Norma was number 70. And it's literally the women who are interactive in my group are literally here right now, right? It's
right,
Lori, it's Kim, it's Vicky, and now it's
right.
Julie and Norma.
Yes, and
So
it's
how do
that
we encourage that
I
communication, to
you
Lori's
know,
point?
I've been thinking about that a lot, okay? Part of it is, of course, exactly what you already do. It's the commenting, the liking, the stuff that we've been taught to do that
Mhm,
just drives us all crazy because it's why we don't wanna be on social media because it just is too much. It's
mhm.
that. But what if we had phone numbers? I have no qualms against dropping someone a text and saying, "Thank you for being here. Hear you here. What can I do for you?"
DMs,
I have no
so they
qualms
don't have
picking up the phone, right?
they have DMs, which I didn't even I'm like, "Oh, yeah, why aren't I sending DMs out?" Right? So I did. Norma got a DM. Julie, you haven't gotten yours yet. But yeah, real connection, right? Real
Real I
connection.
mean, take it further. I mean,
Mhm.
literally, like, the person who I said I'm just kinda helping her over the summer since she's out of town, and Bayou City Outdoors is the name of the company. I'm like, "Send thank you cards to everybody?" She's like, "Why not? Like, it takes 2 minutes. Why aren't you dropping a thank you card to every person who joins?" She's like, "I don't know." And I have a friend that I met through the group who I saw recently, and she said to me that day, they just moved, and she said, we moved and I got rid of so much stuff. I found that thank you card you gave me. It's got to be 20 years ago." She said, "I still have it."
Wow.
That, if you think about that's a deep connection. And so looking at how you can connect beyond the superficial side of just trying to get people to like and comment. Because I kind of think we're mostly kind of tired of liking and commenting, although we wanna help people. So figuring that out in your post, and Vivica said it perfectly. She said on actually, you said on Substack, give but
Mhm.
I wouldn't totally say not to do that on Skool. Give people
Right.
substance. There's this gentleman I follow on LinkedIn. I don't know anything about him. He's a marketing officer. He's hysterical. He posts a picture yesterday of his cats, and he says, "Okay, I'm just like, so here are my cats, and I'm trying to get them into college." And so, I send him a note back, and I'm like, "Well, what are they studying?" And, we had this little conversation. It I don't know him, but I do know that when someone says, "I'm looking for a chief marketing officer," I'm gonna probably say, "You know what? You ought to meet Rick. I don't know anything about him, but he's really funny and he's really interesting to talk to. He's got to be
Mm.
good because he's really communicating." So those communications, take your communication off the platform if you can. To get more
Yeah.
people into the platform,
Okay.
Lori, going back to your question, do you have an email list other than within the school group?
I don't, and I'm embarrassed to
You
say that, but
No,
I
no, no.
don't.
No, no, no. That's super. Okay, this is super cool because, all right, I was going to tell you all at the end, but I'll tell you right now because this might be good for everybody. And if you don't mind, I'm going to tell you a quick story because it has a reason for it. So I sell my company back in 2018. It was doing really well. It was a membership company. So a membership sale has to be kind of a long game. Like you set somebody up, you train them, this is a 2.5, 3 year long game. She bought the
Mhm.
company and I looking pretty good, right? So what do? I immediately decide I'm going to start another company, right? Why?
Yes.
And I'm going to go into something I don't know, women's fitness, and I'm going to spend all the money I just made and not make any money. And by God, I'm not going to start a membership club. Why would I start another membership company? This is my swan song. I'm out of here, right? It actually did start doing pretty well. But then I had an accident and I came home from Costa
Mm.
Rica in a wheelchair. I was using a walker for months and I couldn't take care of anybody but myself. I was down and I couldn't take care of my women who wanted me to consult with them on fitness. So then shoulder surgery, recovering from the accident, shut that company down and sat there and wondered, why didn't I start a membership company? Why didn't I? I know it like the back of my hand. It would have carried me through. I would still have that business going. What was so pig-headed about me? And I'm still pig-headed because then I start doing membership consulting because I love it. So I've been membership consulting for a year now. And I realized about a month ago, I don't have a membership. I'm back to the consulting gig because it's very alluring. Money comes in, feels really alluring. I have
Mhm.
zero email list. Okay, zero. I have maybe 5 people for an email list, maybe. And those are just clients that I threw on an email list. I don't have an email list. My following on social is not around growing a membership company. I throw some really good articles up there around it. So I decided that why not? Why not challenge myself and let people follow along that I start a membership company and I get to 100 paying members, because I like round numbers, 100 paying members in 100 days. Is that even possible? I have no idea. Like, I have no idea, but I'm not going to do any ads. Zero ads. I'm tired of ads. I'm tired of jumping through hoops for Meta. And so, to your point, Lori, I have less of an email list than you do. I have some clients, right? But I don't have people who are in the membership world. But I'm going to throw this out. Probably started, I think I said July 22nd. I'm gonna throw it out there and just let everybody follow along. See what happens. I'll tell you everything I'm doing, what works, what flops, what I'm spending, because I'm only going to spend what I'm already doing, right? Like I'm not going to add ads to it. I'm not going to add new stuff to it. If I'm paying for Typeform, I'm paying for Typeform. And I'll just show you. I'll show you what I do. I will promise you there will be a big scramble at first. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be a big scramble because there's no way in my head right now without some really good connections, which I'm going to talk to you about in just a second. But without that, to go from 0 to 100 without any ads in 100 days. But I don't mind working. I don't think any of us mind working, right? We're all doing it. So why not do it in a way that makes us have recurring revenue? Because recurring revenue, it when people say, "Oh, I just want recurring revenue," it feels a little slimy, but the truth is that recurring revenue is what takes you from being on your back in your bed trying to coach somebody on fitness to saying to your group, "I'm out 3 months. I need to recover. Here's what you need to do. I'll be back." I mean, that's the difference. And we don't mind. Like, think about us. We all have stuff that we pay on a recurring basis, and it's all stuff that matters to us. Recurring revenue is something that really we spend our money on things that matter. And so when we create things that matter, then it we should be paid for it and we should be paid well for it. And all that said, there's one more piece to all of this is that we've been talking about connection within our community. There's also that huge need for connection and collaboration outside of our community. If you were to say to me, "How did you build Bayou City Outdoors?" I would say the number one thing I did was I went out and anywhere that any person I could find to connect with, I did. So people would say to me, "Oh, what are you doing with Buffalo Bayou Partnership? Aren't they your competition?" I'd be like, "I have no competition. I only have people that I can collaborate with." And there was one guy, after 5 years, I finally gave up. Like I kept calling him going, "We really should work together." He's like, "Nope, you're doing the same thing I'm doing." I'm like, "Actually, I'm not." And he's not still here, and BCO is. So it's like, how can you find those? And when it looks like their competition, there's a way they aren't. There's a way they aren't. And we are so willing to help each other, right? Like, how do we help each other grow? Women are good at that. Men are good at that too. Like, I am not naysaying men because I have a lot of men partners that I work with, but that's a piece too. So look for whoever can you collaborate with. Okay, so hang on just a second. I've got several things in here. Let me, because I can, like I told you, I can talk about this. All right, somebody's asking about how do you decide what to charge? So I think two ways, three ways. One, all markets bear something, right? All markets bear a certain price. Two, all audiences bear a certain price. And then three, there's all eras. That's the word, not an error, but an era that bears a certain price. That's why right now, if you look out there at 95% of the ads on Meta, they're tiny offers because people aren't willing to just throw in the 3 grand without knowing the coach like we were doing 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago, it was like, now people are like, wait a second, what am I going to get out of this? And I'm not going in for the $297 one. I'll do $17 just to see who they are. So look at your audience, look at your offer, and look at what you think the time in the world can bear. Then from there, I am not afraid to start small. If you start your membership too high, then if you need to bring what you're charging down, it's super hard, right? It's arduous. But if you start low and go up, it's definitely easier. I can give you a really good example. So I have a client who is an Olympian kayaker. He is the best of the best. And now he teaches people how to kayak, and he does it online. He created this online course. So this is right after I had my shoulder surgery, literally that day. So I'm a little drugged up, feeling pretty good. And I'm scrolling Facebook and I see that he's got this course. And I'm like, EJ, I got you. Let's talk, right? Give me a call. I'll help you out because I'm not working right now. I'm taking off 3 weeks to recover. So we start talking. Well, his membership is priced at $150, but he's dealing with kayakers who tend to be kind of young. They've cobbled together their money to be able to get their boat and their PDF. They're borrowing people's gear. They don't have the dollars. What I had him do is I went, okay, don't get rid of this, because he had 10 people who were paying him for that price. And these are old clients that have been around for a long time. They're all paying him that price. I said, let's come in at, I wanted to come in at 37, but we came in at 47, right? That was the number, was 47. And then we went over here to the $150 one and we gave them the world, right? The world. And then over here on the $49 or $47 one, we only gave them a taste of the world. So then what happened was we were able to take people in the 47 and move them over to 150 as they realized the value. But nobody was coming in this silo of $150. So thinking about like, what's your market going to bear? Okay. And what are you willing to do? Like when I start charging for my membership, I'm going to start at 37. I have no skin in the game, right? And at $37, people would be crazy not to do it for the rest of their life, because that $37 is only going to last for the certain number of people, probably first 100 people, whatever, right? And then it goes up a little bit, and then it goes up a little bit. But if you're going to come in high, and that high is high, 150, 197, 297 a month, whatever that number is, then you need to make sure that you are giving the kind of value that they can't let go of, right? They just can't let go of. What is that? That is maybe in what you do. And sorry, I forgot to do my hair. Maybe the number, maybe it is if you're already doing one-on-one, like the coach that I work with, she does one-on-one. When she provides a monthly, she's giving the one-on-ones that people would normally pay. Oh, I have to make it up because I don't know exactly what she charges, but she probably charges, I don't know, let's say 2 grand for 6 months. So she's giving those people who are paying on a consistent basis a lot of that time that she would normally give the other place. So you want to look and see, like, how can you, and I do believe in overgiving. I really do. I believe in overgiving, but not to the point that it wears you out. So find that overgive that works. I have a client and she's like, I can't give any more. I don't have any more time. I said, you know what you do have time for? You have time to tell all your clients, all the people in your membership, that you're going to do office hours. And here's how office hours work. You're going to pick 2 hours a week that you're going to normally just do admin work. You're going to turn on the Zoom camera. You're going to give everybody the Zoom link and you're going to work. And if nobody shows up, then you got 2 hours worth of work done. And if somebody shows up, then you give them your full attention. And that's working, right? Because now all of a sudden she doesn't feel like she's just sitting there, because her concern was always, well, what if nobody shows up? Like, well, if nobody shows up, then you get work done. So you just tell them, right? You tell them these are office hours and this is how it works. So think about doing things like that. How can you make it easy for you? Give them something they really want. Okay, let me just look real quick. So she monetizes with YouTube and her app.
I don't have any questions, but there's a couple things that really hit home because I how I came up with my numbers was the first iteration of Women's Technology Integration Collaborative was Women's Technology. It wasn't collaborative. I forget what it was called. Anyway, and it was something I had bought into. And so she's like, you have to charge $997 a year, which I did. And then, Women's Reinvention Collective. That was it. The Women's Reinvention Collective. And then I was like, okay, that this isn't working for me. So then I did Women's Reinvention Collective and Women's Technology Collective last year without Skool, right? Just here's a Zoom, here's my landing page, here's our Facebook community, here's our Facebook page for engagement, which was awful. The group was great. The group was amazing, but Facebook, as far as a community platform, is awful. So then I learned about, I think probably Lori told me about Skool. So then I learned about Skool and I'm like, this is great. But I kept my pricing the same. And now I'm looking at people like Duncan, who's got Cloud Code something, and he charges
And
$9 a month.
59 a month, but then if you pay that in advance for a year, and it's
Right.
called the Claude Code Club.
Cloud Code, which is a really good, you should all join. I have an affiliate code for that. But he has 6,000 members. So I think it comes down to the why. Like, why are you building your community? Is it to feed your YouTube channel? Is it to feed them into higher level coaching and training, which is what mine is? Is it to be a vanity project? Like, why? What is the purpose? Why are you building your school group? And I think knowing that why will then help you back into how much am I going to charge for it?
That's a really good point. When you were talking, I realized something that I hadn't really thought before because I have not dove into Skool yet. You also have to look at your platform. If you look at Circle, people on
Right.
Circle or people on Mighty Network, they're charging that $97 a month and up. People on
Mhm.
Skool tend to be a smaller number, not all of them, that smaller number that might feed into something else.
Yeah.
Looking at that and going, okay, how does the platform work? Well, people who used to try and charge for Facebook groups. I don't know if anybody's doing that anymore, but it's the same thing. It was a free platform, and why would people pay? That's another piece. And that's a really good point about looking at where else can you monetize? I definitely like monetizing through membership, and I think
Mhm.
that's important, but there's always other pieces, like an affiliate link, right? Like YouTube. And then picking your path and going. Now, this is why Skool versus Substack.
Because I tried to do Substack as a community and it doesn't work. Substack is really about sharing content. So my funnel, as it were, is big ass piece of content in Substack turns into a LinkedIn post to drive people to Substack, turns into notes and other posts and things like that drive people then to Skool. Because again, I'm limited, women 50 plus. So also Substack gives me a place where I can share information with people outside of my Skool community, but it doesn't have community aspect to it. It does have a chat. I tried to use the chat my last iteration of Women's Technology Collaborative. I tried to use Substack chat for the people who weren't on Facebook, and no one looks at it. And there was limited interactivity and it just didn't work. It just does not work as an LMS. It's not a learning management system, right? So it's not either or, because I have a Claude skill that I can take the content that I create in a Substack and then I just go, okay, now make this a Skool post. And it makes it a Skool post. And they all kind of talk to each other, right? My LinkedIn, my Substack, and my Skool all share similar information, but knowing my audiences are different in all three of them, the output feels a little bit different. And also, if you look in chat right now, Julie and I put together a resource for you. So there's also a little more about that in that resource.
I read it this morning. Super good.
It's not either or, for sure. It's not either or.
And it's really funny because I guess we need to get wrapped up, but Substack brings it back into a big circle because we started out by saying it's not about content. Substack is about content, right? But it's a different kind of content. It's not the fluff that makes you scroll, it's the stuff that makes you think. So when you use Substack that way, then all of a sudden, exactly what you said, you get the content that flows down. And you can use all that information. Okay, let me just put on my marketing hat for 1 second and say this. Within Substack, you can also do the podcast. You can also do the video. You can do all of that. I believe that taking one piece of content and using it literally 100 different ways every time is what keeps us sane. I did a podcast during my fitness era. We did 252 episodes, and everything I did for that whole time came from that podcast. I would do an episode and then everything flowed from there. Using AI, the way that we're taught, you change the feel for it and it goes to the right place. So make sure that you do your content wisely, because it's not like we don't do content. I mean, we still do content. We have to, because we have to be seen. But at the same time, we don't want to be spending days and days making stuff up for people. And I will say, like, when I do actually launch my marketing membership lab, Beyond the Challenge, it's not going to have all those courses in there. Everybody expects to have courses within your memberships. I'm just like, I'm done with courses, man. I have so many clients who built all these beautiful courses, and their people never look at a single thing. Nada. And they're just devastated. And the reality is that I think we can do it without all the courses. We do need the content, right? The content that matters. But what is it? It's going to be whatever it is that they're asking for or that you can show them, get the results that they need to get. That's really
And
all we want.
I did it once, but I need to do it weekly probably, is what do y'all wanna learn? Because I know what I wanna teach, but what do y'all wanna learn? Fortunately, everybody said they wanted to learn what I wanted to teach, which was Cloud Code and Cloud Cowork and creating agents. But after that, it's other technologies. So it's like, what do y'all wanna learn? Of course, I only had the people in this room right now who responded, so there's that. It does come down to that, is what do you want to learn? Let your community drive the content that you're sharing.
It's true. And you know what? You've got a good community here. Like, why not? I'm not above begging. I mean, why not ask everybody on here to bring 3 friends to the next event? Give them 3 friend passes and say, bring your friends. It's figuring out, like attracts like.
Julie tried.
I think that, and Lori, if I answered your question in the very beginning, like, how do you get your membership to be more communicative? I would say communicate with them in unusual ways, if possible. Bring more people in, even if they're free.
Ask. I don't ask. I'm asking right now. Like Lori, Vicky, Julie, Norma, Kim. Who do
Yeah.
you know who should be a part of WTIC?
Ask, make it easy. Give people invitations to send out. Like,
Yeah.
make it easy. Like, how can you make
Yeah.
it super easy? Because, like, if there's one thing I know, we are all so stinking busy. So how can you make it really easy? And know that people like to help. We all like to help. I know that on LinkedIn, I mention our great leader all the time, but I don't have a big reach on LinkedIn. So how much good am I doing? Probably that much. Maybe somebody's seen it, but there's other ways I can reach people too. So just think about that. Like, oh, Julie invited 2 other people. Bingo.
This has been great, the collective and joining, and I agree, making it easy. Viv, you made this so easy because you do send a lot of content, but this was like, and it spoke to me, of course. I'm ready to step into building a membership, so I wanted to learn more about it. I think that a lot of women are afraid too to do something like this. So everything you said, Kelly, was very helpful, making it easy, just having 2-hour windows or inviting people into free things, I think is a very easy thing as well.
And I'm going to take 1 minute and give you guys a commercial. Okay. So thank you. So within there is a link to just like follow along on my challenge. there is no charge. There is
Uh-oh.
nothing. You don't even have to do anything but watch me either fail miserably, but with a lot of vigor, or kick ass. I do know how to market. The other thing that happens in there is that when you put your name in, and I'll grab the link to the type form in just a second. When you put your name in there, I realized that for marketing, everyone has a different personality, DNA. Like DNA is a big word right now. So, of course, I had to do it. Marketing DNA assessment. But we do have that different way that we are, all of us. Some of us are what I call quiet strategists. Some of us lead quietly, some of us lead loudly. That's how we are. And so you can figure out how you do it, like what works for you. And then I'm going to use all the different strategies that all the different DNA types would use in the challenge. So it's not just going to be what Kelly's comfortable with. Like Kelly's super comfortable jumping on podcasts and doing spotlights. Like I'll do that all day long. But not everybody wants to do that. So figuring out like what everybody's specialty is in their marketing, and then trying it all. Let's try it all and see what happens. Could be interesting. Could be really interesting. And we'll learn a lot. I can promise you that. You will learn a lot. Could be good stuff, bad stuff, but I don't mind sharing.
So we've
Yeah.
got 2 resources in there. We've got a lot of what we covered in today's chat, just nice big article. Also in there is the link, but also I just put it right there, and we should all join that right now.
Oh, yeah.
We should all
Yeah.
join Kelly's type form right now.
Do, because I promise you, you probably won't even get a welcome email. They inundate you with emails.
And it won't be today, but I'm going to take this video and I'll make a classroom accessible to everybody. And then any questions you have for Kelly, use our group to ask them. You all can post too. It doesn't have to be just me. All of y'all are allowed to post in our group and ask your questions. So please do that.
Please do.
Yeah.
Ask in the group so that we can get people moving. You can always reach out to me if you have questions. And then what we'll do, if we're thinking about it and we're smart, we'll take those questions, we'll put it back in the group. But I am happy to answer questions. I am more than happy to help in any way, because I want to see women do really, really well in what we do. I really do.
And for those less technically inclined, you just use the @sign, start typing in Kelly's name, and it will inform her. It'll notify her.
Thank you for that.
Not all of us grew up on Twitter, right?
Right. Thank y'all so much. I really, really appreciate this. Very, very
It
much.
was so great to see everyone, and some new faces too. So welcome. You took action. So that's a huge differentiator between you and your competitors who are not going to do as well as you are. And Kelly, I can't begin to thank you enough. I have so many notes and things I now need to do. It was great information. It's full of great information. So I want to thank you all for being here, and especially you, Kelly. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.